evening, everybody, and welcome to the APAT show. Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Leigh, we're playing a bit, but we're also going to be talking about the World Series of Poker, right?
Yeah, that's kicked off this week. So, yeah, a little bit to chat about. We thought we'd come a bit quiet on online tonight. No satellite up and running, but there are 5 of the heroes still in the Sunday Splash. You've got about 10 minutes if you want to get involved in that. Go and do a bit of damage. There's some of the regs playing that. Tony Ross is in there, Steve Forty's in there, Brian Frew's playing it, Eddie Niaxu's playing it as well. If you fancy getting involved and stirring it up a bit on a Sunday night, splashing about with a few chips, you've got 10 minutes left. It's only a $5 if you fancy getting involved on groverpoker.com. And yes, if you can nick the money, I think at the moment it's winner takes all in the Sunday Splash tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that as we're going. But yeah, as you say, Des, WSOP started on Tuesday, which means the fantasy points have started to come in. And I see John's been busy over the weekend and results have started to go in. So we've got a bit of an update on that. Not too late to get involved in that either. So bit of late reg on that as well. I'll have to double check exactly how long it is. I had a funny feeling. I had something like event number 8 in my head, or was it the 8th of June? It's something along those lines. I'm sure we'll find out, as somebody will be able to let us know. But you've got a chance to anyway do substitutions if necessary. If you've all of a sudden heard on the grapevine that somebody you've picked is no longer heading to Vegas for the summer, or if you want to just get in a little bit of a late reg, got a bit of an idea of what's going on now, and you can still put an entire team in from scratch if you wanted. They broke the record, Des.
Yeah, impressive stuff. 1,200 quid in the kitty. So the boys are very pleased about that. They've done a great job. Close to 100 unique players. But that's outstanding. And, for all of those players with all of those teams, just adds a lovely bit of spice for the World Series. Now, I don't know about you, Leigh, but I took on board what Dan Williams said to us, 2 weeks back? He talked about, my players on Poker News. So you log into Poker News, you go to your profile, you can select your players. Now, I've used that to select the 10 players that I've got in my fantasy World Series of Poker team. And I was able to have a quick look just before we went online this evening on the stream, and 9 of them have already, played in those first 7 or 8 World Series of Poker events. So, I'm feeling good about my lineup, Leigh. I can't say I've had any points or many points so far, but at least I know by far and away the majority of them are in Vegas.
And that's the most important thing, because what you don't want is to have a no-show. So, yeah, if you've got somebody in your team that actually is just couldn't be bothered to go out or was hardly going to play anything in the end, then that does limit what you can do. So did you enter just the one team in the end, Des?
Just the one. I mean, normally Carl gives me a bit of a hand, but he gave me my... hey boss, it's like it's 24 hours to go, as he tends to on a DM, because I'm always the last one to enter. And I went away, did a little bit of research, a little bit of my own homework, which, if nothing else, will almost certainly, determine the fact that I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish way down this year, as opposed to being in a healthy position. I'm having a look.
So you've already picked up a couple of points. Let me bring this up on the screen. Here we go. Here we go.
Geez, look at that. Look at that.
Here's your team then. So talk us through it. Talk us what was your kind of thought process on these guys?
The only one, and it was the only one that I had a thought process around was Matt Davenport, because you and I both on the stream and outside have discussed Matt on a number of occasions over the last few weeks, and he's been super, super consistent. And I got a sense from his Facebook that he was going to the series with Sinead, and they were going to hit it hard. So he was the only one that I sort of, thought, okay, this is a bit of a swing, but he's got the game. I don't know if he's got the bankroll, but he's got the game. So if he gets some early results, who knows? And partially I was thinking he might be one that I'll have that maybe a lot of other players won't have. Now, as it transpires, I think he's in maybe 5 or 6 other teams. So, I wasn't alone in picking Matt. But outside of that, I read just a couple of articles because there's a lot of talk around fantasy for the World Series. It's quite a big thing now, right? So I read a few articles.
There's obviously there's the huge draft that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. And I think also Poker.org are running a competition as well. I think you'll find
that's heavily weighted through those discussion pieces online. And really kind of what I was looking for above all else was a sense that, those who are perhaps more in the know than I am felt that these players would be around. So I think it is a volume-based thing. As you know, if a player is around for 20% of the World Series of Poker, just strategically give them a miss, because if you cash 50% of the time, which is extremely unlikely, it's still going to be a relatively small number in comparison with somebody who's there for and doing 50, 60 events. So that was kind of my thinking. So the rest of them, I guess, are based on what the community or those in the know in the community think can do well. Now, what I haven't done is I haven't really, with the exception of Matt Davenport, looked through my team and tried to see where the other, points of difference with everybody else's team. Now, obviously, I've got Ivy, I've got Seaver, I've got Chance Cornath, Brian Rass. I've got a lot of players there, Jeremy Osmus, who a lot of the other fantasy WSOP managers will have also. So, I don't think there's a lot of differentiation there. But, I suppose I wanted to continue to show support for the initiative without necessarily having that deep knowledge.
Well, of course, the good thing about this is, for those that don't know, what I'm looking at here is the spreadsheet that John shares. So you can check that out via the group. The link is in there for it, so that's available to everybody. I think if I go over to the, this is the one. This is the player selection tab. So what he's got in here is you can see how many people have picked these players. So the likes of a Benny Glazer there, 47.
Joint top, right?
He's in 47 teams. So if I scroll a bit further down, Chance Cornath's got 40 there. 75.
75 actually is joint top. It's Negrano
is Negrano. And I'm going to assume Sean Deeb. I'm going to assume it's Sean Deeb.
I think Sean Deeb is also in that sort of ballpark.
Who was 67 there? Who did I just jump past? Okay, Jeremy Osmus, who you mentioned in your team, is in 67 of the teams. And I'm going to assume if I scroll a bit further down, I'm assuming it's Sean Deeb, but maybe it isn't actually. It's Scott Seaver. Scott Seaver's 75 as well.
Who I've got as well, right?
And Sean Deeb is 61. So it's interesting to say who's got what. Now, we should just briefly talk about. We're only, I think, 3 events in, I want to say, something like that.
From a scoring perspective, perhaps you're right.
Yeah,
we're always going to be a little bit behind, right?
Yeah, we're only 3 in. So David Anderson has got 2 teams in, and his team number 1 has already scored 18 points.
Crikey.
Yes. So I'm going to go and find. Let me find David's team. There it is. There. That didn't take too much finding.
Yeah, there you go. Christian Roberts.
So Christian Roberts, never even no idea whatsoever, but a great pick. Already picked up, and I don't know what is 15 points. Is that it can't be far off a win? Is it? It's got to be.
Well,
I'm not even sure what the scoring works. Yeah, it can't be far off a win.
Yeah, Simon Lawler's been mentioned as somebody who picked a winner in one of those first couple of events, who nobody else had picked. So if you can find Simon Lawler's team, one of his teams, however many he's put in, will have at least one player who has scored maximum points, and that will give us a clue as to what a winner will pick up.
According to this, Simon's only scored 1 point and 2 points so far.
Well, it might not have been resulted yet then.
Yeah, it might be that this is only after 3 results that have been locked in. So yeah, that is quite possibly the
Simon's
case.
out there.
I'm sure somebody
he will let us know.
somebody in the chat will be able to confirm the points, how it works out. So we will see. Simon says he's watching on YouTube as well.
Exotic.
So evening to you. We'll have a look at some Simon's teams. Let's see what he's gone for. It's a little bit on a catch up. Bear with me a second, and I will scroll down and find. As you say, you'll see lots of names you recognise. Where is Simon going to be? There we go. Here's Simon's 2 teams here. So team 1 is full of Dans.
So Dan Heimler. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or butchering it. Dan has won an event already, so the points haven't been allocated just yet. But he's just got to hope the rest of the Dans do the business for him. And mind you,
I mean,
who knows? There's some decent players in there, right?
You just don't want to be getting towards the, if it's not gone too well for him and he's turning into a bit of a desperate Dan. That's not what you want, is it really? If that works out as well. But his second team is full of some serious usual suspects. Benny Glazer in there, Phil Hellmuth, Sean Deeb, Steve Chidwick. It's got Vanessa Caden, which is an interesting one. I don't know how much Vanessa's playing this year. Yuri Martins, Divisilevsky is another good shout that cashes very well in the WSOP. So, and Josh Arrier as well, another one. So yeah, and obviously Patrick Leonard was in the last 4 of the heads up.
He's in the last 4, yeah.
I believe, yeah. So certainly that's going to pick up a whole load of points there. I would imagine. So it's all looking good. We are keeping an eye on this Sunday splash. They are down to 3. It won't take very long. Double top 40. Steve 40 is the short stack. I'm not sure what we're paying now. Let me have a quick look on what's going on. Top 2 are getting paid, so we are on the money bubble now. And I did say to him to stick it in the chat and remind me, because I would forget, because he asked me earlier on if I could. We could just give the shout. I'll let you do it, Des, because obviously.
Yeah, let's say, look, hello, Des and Leigh. Leigh, don't forget Mr. and Mrs. 40's 43rd wedding anniversary. That's amazing,
23rd.
Steve.
23rd.
I can't believe.
23rd.
Yeah,
23rd.
I'm having them all.
23rd.
I'm having them all.
Yeah, definitely 20. Definitely 23rd. Yeah.
Definitely 23.
Yeah.
Definitely not 43. And just back from a 7-day cruise. How did that go, Steve? Let us know. Didn't have any online poker for the week. A mental break for sure. And to be honest, a break from poker is a good thing. Is always a good thing. But glad to have you back, Steve. I hope you had a brilliant cruise. Have you ever done a cruise, Leigh?
No. Can't say I
haven't done a cruise. Sean is super keen to do a cruise. She's done a couple of them.
Red Funnel ferry to the Isle of Wight is about as close as I've got. Did take a ferry across to Calais once from Dover, and drove down to the Champagne region to funnily enough to collect some champagne. But
Asda's a lot closer, Leigh. A lot closer.
Absolutely. I see Tristan's in the chat.
Yes.
He's got a good. I mean, he's got a great question.
Evening, guys. Are APAT running a Player of the Year? If so, can you guys have a chat about it tonight, please? Leigh, I'll let you lead on that one, young man.
Yeah, we are. We've had it a little bit under the radar so far, but we were going to make a bigger deal of it in the coming weeks as we kind of build up to a whole lot of events this summer and this autumn. But yes, we are running a player of the year leaderboard. That's up on the website. Needs updating, I think, for Malta and Coventry, which we'll get that done as soon as we can. But the winner of the leaderboard is going to join Team Grosvenor at the Irish Open for 2026.
Wow,
and be part of Team Grover over there with a package which will include main event buy-in plus some cash for hotel and travel. And we'll also have some online tickets for probably the top 10 in the leaderboard. So basically, any cashes in live events throughout 2025, plus any medal events online, have all got points allocated, and you'll be able to see that on the website. So we will get it updated for Malta and Coventry, and then we'll really push that before Liverpool next month, and obviously the Worlds, and let you guys all get involved in that. But we've got a load more online events to happen later on in the year, so you'll be able to pick up points for those as well. So, yep, in answer to the question, there you have it.
Amazing, lovely stuff. And it was Mr. 40 who knocked out one Mr. Ross, his pairs partner, apparently, Lee.
His pairs partner. Okay,
his pairs partner.
That's slightly worrying. Well, speaking of Steve, this is Steve's fantasy team. So again, a number of
3 players in the points already.
But interestingly, I don't really know the Daniel Sepion. Not really.
No,
doesn't ring any bell. Neither does James Colopy or Joseph Coyne. In saying that, you'll probably find I've got some of those in my team. It's quite possible. I wasn't playing about with 4 teams because I've got 2 for myself, and we entered a Talk Club team and a Hearts of Queens team as well in the mix. So
and you've got 2 of your own.
I've got 2 of my own. Plus, I also paid in for a couple of Dutch teams as well. So yeah, I've pretty much just sent Carl my net worth, basically. That was that's what happened.
Come on, let's see your teams up, Lee. Come on, let's get him up on screen.
We've got to get to this. Luckily, he has got this in all alphabetical orders, so it does make it a little bit easier to try and track this down. Let's have a look.
Nice to see Jurgen as a team in there as well. Jurgen Bachmann.
He does. There you go. So there's my two entries, and yes, I do have James Colopy in mine. So essentially, I don't not really heard it, but I recognised the name.
You recognised him from your own selection. Yeah, well, they look like a couple of solid teams, Lee.
Well, do you know what I like? So on my second team, we'll see what happens with. But my first team, what I like about that already, Des, is 5 of. We're only 3 events in. Yeah, 5 of my 10 have already picked up a point. That says to me there's going to be some volume in that team. I'm really liking that. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't think I've got no reason to change any of those. I think we'll go with it. We'll go with what my initial gut feeling and see what happens. But yeah, nice to see say already a bunch of half the team picking up some points. And we'll see how the summer plays out. But yeah, you can check out everybody's teams on the spreadsheet. They're all in there. There's Karen Balby's teams up against. It's Battle of the Karens. Karen's got 2 teams there. Karen Mead's got 2 teams as well. And then Kev O'Hanlon tucked in there on the right hand side as well. So Luca's in there. Italian team captain from years gone by. I'm not sure which Matt Pitt that is. I'm going to assume it's Poker News Matt Pitt, but it might not be. It could be friend of Steve 40 Matt Pitt. We will look at
Natalie's team.
All female.
All ladies.
Natalie's gone all female with that one.
Very good. And lots of really interesting selections there. Kathy Liebert, legend of the game from 20 years ago, still pops up from time to time with the results. So an interesting one. Ebony Kenny, Anna Marquez, Maria Ho, Lonnie Ho. So a lot of these ladies are very well known. And of course, we talked about Matt Davenport earlier. Well, there's the second half of that gold bar, Sinead. Could be the surprise of them all.
Absolutely. quite possibly. Matt Pitt's team there again, four players already picking up points. That's always a good
He's gone for
indication.
Too.
Yeah, so Pete Wigglesworth's got a team in. Phil TC, wherever he might be in the world, he's managed to get a team in. Rob Swindell's there already earning some points. Ricky Buckland's got a couple of teams in there.
Did I see that Adam Owen had a deep run in something? Already in one of those early events. Again, probably not resulted yet, but I think he's picked up a few points along the way.
Let's see whether, if I go back to the player list, let me bring up Adam Owen. Yeah, interestingly only picked by five teams. Yeah, interestingly, but yeah, nothing on the board yet.
And what about that dog of a man, Phil Hellmuth, telling everybody he wasn't going to play the main event, getting all of the publicity, and all of a sudden he's back on a chariot,
Of course, he was never not going to play it. There was always going to be the case. I think Rob Young posted on his X feed, on Phil's X feed, saying basically, we'll see you at the main event, Phil. No bother whatsoever. So whatever you might be saying, but he's always going to do that. There's Stefan Fisher's teams that I mentioned.
Yeah. So it's always interesting to see when the international lads put a team in, as we saw with Luca's team. There was Dario Aliso, is it? To see whether there's any local players from their country who they're fancying. Don't see anybody, do I?
No, he's gone. Stefan's gone fairly standard, I would say, with those picks. Got Brad Owen in, which was an interesting one. Again, not sure how much volume he'll play. Whether Brad Owen will actually
WPT result recently. Suzanne Hayward there as well. Haven't seen Suzanne in ages. Hope she's well. Brilliant how many of our past APAT members are still playing this game.
Yeah,
Preston
and
McEwen.
don't forget, guys.
Who's Preston McEwen?
You can still. Oh, hang on.
Whoa.
Oh. John's doing something. John's doing something in the background, I reckon. Yeah,
he's watching the stream and having us on.
He's watching on the spread. Yeah, going. I'll just remove all of. I tell you why. Look. It's only gone to results after 4.
Oh, here we go. It's a live update. Look at the state of that. 4. Look, he knows we're going through it.
And David Anderson has gone from 18 points to 19 points. So, he's snuck up now. Does that mean Simon Lawler's? Well, no, I don't think that the winner's in yet. That's 4 and 3, so that's not an extra.
Not a winner. Have I picked up any points yet, Lee? I've got to ask.
2
2 points. No. Sorry,
I picked up an extra one. I've got up to 6 now. Hey, love it when it's live.
Who's Notiboom? I know Notiboom. That name rings a bell. Is that Jurgen?
Where are we looking?
Notiboom? Sorry, a second column, number 3 down. You're at the top.
Yes, I think it is. Yes.
8 points. Nice going early on.
Yeah, I think it is. So points are being updated as we speak because John bust the Sunday Splash earlier on.
So let me give you some updates from the chat box, Lee, right? Because there's a lot going on there. First of all,
I'll pop the poker back on.
Yeah, good man. So non-World Series of Poker, we'll come back to World Series of Poker in just a moment. Frank Bailey, I hope you're well, Frank. Evening, guys. Any online team games in the pipeline?
Yeah, we hope so. It's trying to make the decision whether we feel that there's enough interest to run a squad style leaderboard, which we may well do, but that may well be something which we look to put in the autumn time. Always the summer months are always tricky because it's just nice weather and holidays and people doing other things and lots going on. So that may be something that we pop in later on in the year. But yeah, we really watch if there is interest from players. It's really difficult to know because we obviously we've switched back to Grosvenor now, who are brilliant, and arguably the satellites we've got online now are probably the best ones we've ever had. So we're guaranteeing two £140 seats every Sunday night, and you can feed her into those from a free roll if you want. So free roll to £1 to £5 to £30 to get into that. There's no expiry date on any of those. You can use those £140 tickets for any event this year. I don't think we've ever had as good an online satellite structure for players to play, but we're kind of still struggling to see some of the events kick off on a Sunday night. So we need to try and work out why that is. But once we can kind of get to the bottom of that, then we'll certainly look to get some team events on, which is likely to be in the autumn time, I would guess.
Yeah. Moving on down the list, Steve rather modestly says that team of mine is quality. And then Simon interestingly says, no Vanessa Cade. Or he might have said, no, Vanessa Cade, as if he forgot her. So he either doesn't think she's appearing or he does think she's appearing. It just isn't clear which. But in any event, Simon is thinking of Vanessa Cade. Not unusual, right? Not unusual. He's moved on from the travel lady, thinking of Vanessa Cade now. Simon goes on to say, Benny Glaser leading in the dealer's choice. 14 left. A lot of people going to pick up points. Did we say 40 odd of the teams?
Yeah, there's a lot. Glaser? There's a lot in there with Benny Glaser. Chunk. Yeah.
Trish says Adam Owen, just busted 14th in the $1,500 dealer's choice. Great performance. So Adam had gone deep in one indeed. Sai said classic Bach by me. Steve says, what about Alan Kessler? Alan Kessler's team. Okay, well, we do have our own resident WSOP celebrity stroke pro. It is Alan Kessler. Can we get his team up, Lee? Is there any insight, do you think, that can be gleaned?
Interestingly, somebody did post this up on the, I think it was on the chat in the group, and made the fairly obvious point that
he didn't pick himself.
When you see Alan's team, there might be something missing from Alan's team.
I did read that.
Because interestingly, there are 5 people that have picked him, but he's not one of them.
Well, let's call that modesty, Lee.
Now, you've got to say, if you're not going to back yourself, Des, though, you've really got to ask questions. Wow. But yeah, that's Alan's team. 6 points, same as
Tony Lynn. He's already picked up a point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Lee, if you go and find Tony Lynn, I'm going to guess there aren't too many other teams that have Tony Lynn. But other than that, I've seen everybody else, right?
And James Hobbs is another one. But obviously, he's got Pads in there, who we know is going to pick up a serious chunk of points.
Osmus has already picked up points. Negranu inevitably will pick up points.
Have got. I mean, there's plenty of what we should say. There are plenty of players that have only been picked by one team. So Alan Engel is one there. Interestingly, Barney Boatman.
Oh no, Barney as well.
Yeah. Say Brad Owen's only been picked by two teams. Who else is Brock Wilson's only one there. Kerry Cates is one there.
Tony Lynn.
Chris Moorman. Chris Moorman has only one person, and he's playing.
He's playing well,
and already picked up a point. Who are we looking for? James Obst was one, wasn't it? But see, there's quite a few. The 5 have got him. Who was the one that you said? Terry Lynn.
Tony Lynn.
Tony Lynn. Let me have a get that to Tony. I might have gone way too far. 4 people.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. One person's picked Toby Lewis. One person's picked Stuart Rutter, who's already picked up a point.
That's interesting.
This is and has got a really decent schedule. I want to say it's like it can't be. Well, it might be 80K's worth. It's a big schedule that he sold action on Blonde Poker. So yeah, he's got serious. Wow. Katie Swift sold. Her package was like about 80,000. as well. So she's playing loads and already picked up a win, not in a WSOP event, in an event at the Golden Nugget. Literally first event she played out in Vegas this summer, and chopped it heads up for a nice cash. So Katie could be. I don't know how many. I'm surely some people have picked will have picked Katie. Let's see.
Just while you're looking for Katie, Simon confirms. No, comments on Natalie Bromley not picking her. So the no Vanessa K.
Can you believe
not Natalie's team.
Nobody's picked Katie. Nobody's picked Katie Swift.
Well, it might be that the majority picks were done before Katie Facebooked her package, possibly.
Yeah, and it's a big old package. It doesn't say exactly what she's playing. You could obviously, if you're investing, you can.
A chunk might
she'll provide that, but yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly.
But a very solid player, so very solid pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. This Sunday Splash is still on the bubble. Effectively, 3 of them left. Chip Eater is the short stack with 13 bigs, and the other 2 have got sort of 50-60 bigs each, which is Steve Forty and Douglas Dew, who's Brian Frew. So we're just waiting to bust one, and the remaining 2 will be in the money.
Brad Owen is playing all of the mixed games, according to Simon. He's already cashed in the 08, and Simon is confirming that he will be getting 25 points. It is
so it's 25 for a win. Lovely.
Yeah, once we get up to event 6,
I'm sure if Brad Owens is playing all the mixed games, I'm sure he'll find time to head over to the Bellagio to see our good friend Robbie, who has got his mixed game festival. However, I've lost track of how many he's on now, but it's a kind of split dates this time. So it's I think it's sort of the second week in June, then takes a couple of days off, and then back for a few more days. But at the Bellagio. So if you like your mixed games and you're in Vegas this summer,
go and have a look.
Please, get over there and check it out. And say, every mixed game under the sun gets played there. Plus, Robbie puts on loads of other stuff. So I think they do like a quiz morning and pizzas and all sorts of stuff going on there. And it's really good.
Very, very popular.
So well worth checking out. And if you do go over, tell Robbie Des and Leigh sent you, and he might even give you a t-shirt.
Bring back some pizza if you can, please. Steve says the Matt Pitt must be Poker News Matt, who we know, of course, as Super Matt. Leigh, or in earlier seasons of the APAT show, Bat Matt. But in any event, it is Poker News Matt, not MPP Matt.
Who is already super busy because he tends to work out of the UK for the series this year, but produces so much content. Kind of backing up the team backing up the team that are on the ground. What I will say is, obviously, love what Poker News do, and it's great to see them back as the kind of the official part. But there's so much good stuff out there these days. I don't know whether you've caught up with anything that Jonathan Rabb is writing
I've seen
the moment, but some really good articles focusing in on how the Brits are doing in the early stages, but also a really good article about staking out there, and as mentioned a number of the packages out there and stuff. So really good stuff. That's on Poker.pro, I think it is. But there's some really good stuff, and I don't to me it's the more good quality content that's out there that people can use to follow what's going on, the better it is. And I know there's been a lot of changes obviously this year. So the WSOP Plus app is now in use, and you need to register for that. So when you're seeing all the pictures of the the registration lines and the usual thing, World Series of queuing and all that nonsense, a lot of those people are just verifying their WSOP Plus app. And once they've done that, you're then just buying in on the app, either using, I think, a credit card or a debit card in the US, but also anybody who's non-US can use Luxon Pay now to buy in. So, those initial queues, which will always be there because obviously people are joining the series and heading out the series, all the time. But once you've got your app verified, which is just a case of, I think they just manually need to check your ID that you are who you say you are, and it's like a ticking box exercise. then you're kind of done. You're not even going to the Brava machines anymore to kind of get your ticket. You choose when you want to sit down on it as well. So it'll seat you, and it'll then give you a seating number to go to, and you just go and sit down. It'll offer you an empty seat. So very much how we've talked in the last couple of years about how the Irish Open works. It sounds like the World Series is kind of finally there with that level, which is how it should be. I mean, it's superb.
I read an interesting discussion that was kind of along the lines of, it's great that all of this stuff is kind of happening now. Poker News, doing some new things with new features and stuff. Obviously, Poker.org over there, but also the WSOP Plus app and stuff. But people are kind of going, but where do I go for my updates now? Because are they more updated in one place? Are there duplicate updates, or are some people taking it from other sites based on an agreement, or are they going to be is there like one reporter covering 10 tables? How often did they update? There's still lots of questions.
So basically, the idea is now that at every break, the dealers at every table should be updating chip counts on the app.
On
players
which app?
On the WSOP Plus app,
and presumably that flows through to Poker News as well.
I think that's all linked up for the information that they're getting.
Brilliant.
As a player, you have the ability to update your chip count as well on that app, if you want to. Now, it's not a perfect world. They reckon that it happens 90% of the time, but it's exactly the same principle when we were at the Irish Open. If the dealers have got the time, so they've all now got a device. All dealers have got a device at their table, basically, which is linked to that app as well. And so they're able to basically, I think they're therefore able to now exit and bring in players, and kind of, so when a new player sits down, they can confirm an ID and basically seat them then on the system. So so very similar situation. So I don't know quite why it took so long to get there, but they're there now with it. And the idea is now, obviously, as is always the case, and even more so in Vegas, they're shipping in so many dealers for the summer that it's not going to be a perfect world, because you're going to have some dealers that are new to it or just choose not to do it or whatever reason, but I'm assuming that they'll pick up on that and it'll get better as the summer goes. But the idea is now you should be able to, on that app, go and follow live who's sitting where and what their stacks are for the last break, which just is a game changer for the World Series. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think Dan mentioned it when he was on the other week that it's going to be, they're not update. So Poker News aren't going to update day ones anymore. So where there's multiple day ones for an event, they won't start live reporting until day two, which I think makes perfect sense, because it's just a lot of unnecessary info, which means their quality of what they're going to do is going to be even stronger than it is before. So
a couple of things for you. So Stefan says the reason I can't play on Grosvenor, we know this, Stefan, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Steve says, I'm so sorry, Stu Rutter, my poker coach, didn't pick him this year. Didn't Steve won? He won a session with Stu Rutter, didn't he?
He did. In the Hearts of Queens raffle,
apparently she's in the money in the Mystery Millions. That's too. Katie. We're talking about Katie.
So
right?
Katie Swift, So
good gal.
Having a cracking start to the
Simon
series.
Closes out our current chat with verifications 24/7. However, typical poker players all try and do it 10 minutes before the tournament. This we know.
And if you can get organised, it was funny. There was somebody I saw on X that made the comment of, he got to the front of the queue and had everything ready to go, and the person that was doing the verification looked at him quite puzzled, like going, "Wow, you're all organised." So clearly they've been dealing with a lot of poker players. They're going, "You want me to do what on the app?" Because basically you can do a chunk of it before, so you can, you can tick a couple of the boxes before, and then I think it literally is then just the verification one you need to do if you've got yourself organised and prepared. But all those people when you're going through airport security, when you're already out there with your your belt off, your shoes off, your laptop out, and everything ready to rock and roll, and you just stood there watching them for 5 minutes get themselves
still in their overcoat.
It's very much like that. Although that's all changing in the airports now, because they've got these new scanners that are coming in, which means that's becoming a standard thing now.
For the last year and a half to 2 years in Gatwick, anytime I go through, and I'll be going through again this weekend, you just put your bags up. You don't have to take out any laptops or any of that stuff. They've just brought them
into. They were bringing them into Southampton when I flew over to Dublin the other week, and Vegas have had them for a while. Heathrow hadn't, but I think they're now coming in. I think Heathrow might be. Last time I flew Heathrow, they didn't. So, but maybe that's it seems to be a new standard thing. So that's all good. Yeah, so that is good. We're still three-handed in this Sunday Splash. We said we were only going to pop on for about half an hour, and this would be over, but. They don't want. It's now Douglas Dew. It's now Brian Frew who's the short stack. It was Steve Forty again at one point as Chippy to got a double up through him, and now it's Brian Frew, Douglas Dew, who's down to 13 bigs, and the other two have got 30 bigs. So nobody wants to go here. They're desperate for the little bit of money here. It's £20 for second place and nearly 40 for the winner. But nobody wants to.
Douglas Dooley, wasn't he player of the match in the Champions League final last night?
It's very similar. Yeah, very similar. Didn't watch it myself, but it looked like an absolute procession.
Yes. Yes.
In all ways, which in a way is not a bad thing. No, I started watching Department Q on Netflix.
Is this the Edinburgh Cold case?
Very, very good.
Haven't seen it, but
very good.
I've put my finger on it and said, right, we're going to talk.
It's very, very good. Yeah, started watching it last night, finished it today.
Already? How many episodes?
Yeah. 9. It's
Jesus
phenomenal.
Christ, lad.
Jen and I watch, and it's
just cuddled up on the couch with your magnifying glass.
It's got to be good for Jen to want to binge watch something. Amazing. So, and it was one of those where we got to sort of midnight last night and got about 4 episodes in and went, we'll have to call it a night now. And then this morning we took the dogs for a walk, got home, and Jen kind of went, should we just stick that Department Q back on a Sunday?
Department Q and Deliveroo. Yeah, we're sorted.
Yeah, but highly recommend it. Probably a season 2 gonna come. It's actually based on an original Danish book and series. I think there was 3 of those. A guy wrote those. But pretty much has been turned into. They set it in Scotland for some reason, but it works really, really well. Very, very good indeed.
I watched one last night, Lee. Kids kind of went off to bed or whatever, put it on, and I can't think. I want to say it's on Apple, but it is about the sniper, Eddie Gallagher. Heard of this? Yeah, you might have heard of this controversial. Was he shooting some civilians in Iraq? Stuff like that, during operations, and he's kind of been accused. There's no spoilers here. This is immediately known from the first couple of minutes of the show. He's been kind of accused by his platoon, of which he leads, which is highly unusual, and it's a 4-episode sort of documentary, absolutely insane. Watched all 4, managed to get up to bed at something like 2:30 last night. It's just nuts what these streaming services are doing to us.
Excellent.
Couldn't walk away.
I'll have to give that. Yeah. Oh, that's always a good one, isn't it? If that's the case, if it keeps you wanting to just watch one more, it's going to be good. Simon Law says no spoilers in the chat. No, so I wouldn't want to spoil that because it's very, very good.
Excellent.
But I highly recommend finding the time to watch Department Q.
This Eddie Gallagher guy reminded me a little bit about of Max Verstappen, who had a controversial moment today where he pretty much just drove into George what's his name, and afterwards he was asked the question, did you deliberately? I think he said something along the lines of, I might have. It was like very very blasé. It's
been a very bizarre last couple of weeks of Formula One. The Monaco Grand Prix, where you had kind of George Russell going, I'll take the penalty. Just give whatever they want to give me. I've had enough. I've had enough of this.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a double up for Brian. It is doubles up with the ace queen against queen 7. Steve 40 shows a 9 when there were 2 9s on the board. It's no good, Steve. If you don't play the hand, there's no point showing what you had. It makes no difference to anybody.
Fine. Simon says found. I want to say that's it. A bit confusing. I assume he's talking about.
No. I'm assuming he's talking episode.
Episode 1 of this Edinburgh cold case thing.
I'm assuming he's talking. I'm assuming he's. What would I say? It does have a few different timelines going with it. So it's you need to it is one you sort of need to focus on. But because it does have a few timelines on, and obviously eventually gets to the explaining everything at the end. You're not left unsure. And unlike sometimes with these things where they try and be overly clever with it, it ends well. It's a good ending to it as well, so well
Excellent.
worth it. Yeah.
My 10-year-old, she came to me yesterday evening. As I said, we kind of all sat down to watch something, and she said, "Can we watch The Conjuring?" And I said, "No, I think we're going to give that one a miss." I said, "Your dad doesn't even want to watch that. Maybe in the middle of the day with all the lights on, but no, I'm not watching that on a Saturday evening. The Conjuring."
No,
I don't
absolutely.
think so.
Absolutely. All this talk of Vegas, and we've not even mentioned what is down there. Yeah, on that screen.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, by this time tomorrow night, we'll have a winner that we're heading to. Is going to be heading to Vegas. Another Poker Raffles Vegas draw is up and available. Tickets are just £1. I'm not sure how many we've.
I say we're about 3,200 sold, Lee. Of 5,000, so there's still 1,800 left. But I kind of think they're going to go quickly. Now, maybe there's going to be some value, but I'd be surprised if they don't go tomorrow.
Just looking now, we've got 1892 left on that. If you want to get involved in that one, the APAT draw for this week sold out. So if you were hoping to get involved with that one, you can't. You can buy tickets for next week's one, but the APAT draw for this week sold out earlier on today. So we'll be picking that winner as well. But I think I'd be surprised if we shift 1,900 tickets in the next 24 hours. But so if you fancy go, but basically £1 tickets, £3,500 package. You'll get to play the WSOP Ultra Stack event, which is at the beginning of July, and also we will give you enough money to get you plus somebody else over to Vegas, London to Vegas, and also put you up in a strip hotel for 7 nights as well. So lovely little package.
Great.
Get you and a mate over to Vegas. If you're already planning on going to Vegas, we can make the package flexible for you. So if you're already going, slightly different dates, and you're like, well, any chance I could do this and play that instead or whatever, we can sort that out for you. Again, not a problem whatsoever. If you don't know it, you've got no friends or anyone like that, and you just want to go on your own, again, no problem as well. Go on your own. We'll give you an extra little bit of cash, and you can maybe buy into another comp or something like that. So super flexible on the package. It is worth a maximum of £3,500 though, and it's looking like it's going to be good value. If you want to get involved in that, then go for it. If you're friends with Tom Brady, go and check out his Facebook page, because I think because he's got a little deal on there for anybody that's friends with him. So
does he?
I know
what you mean.
Yeah,
but, is that a new player deal, or can regular players?
No. You can use it for this draw as a special post. So if you want to do that, so if anybody's is fancying getting involved in that, then just go and check it out on Tom's Facebook page. These guys are still three-handed. It's like
they're hardly.
They're just they don't want to leave. Slight differences now. So Chip Eater is the chip leader now, and the other two now are down. So Brian's got 12 bigs, Steve's got 16 bigs. So we're now in a situation where we had two big stacks and one short stack. We've now got one big stack and two shorter stacks. So let's see how this pans out. Whether Chip Eater can carry on putting the pressure. Well, it's all in. Just as I was saying that, and Brian's going to need a bit of help there and doesn't get there. And there you go. We are man down, and we've got 2 players left now, and it's a 3-1 chip lead for Chip Eater against the double top 40, Steve 40. Steve's got a bit of work to do here. He's in the money now, though. So do you think he's just going to get?
No, just get a little bit to win. He's a competitive soul.
Yeah, well, no. What I was going to say, whether he's just going to go, well, okay, I'll be a bit more, take a chance now, and just try and get a double up.
Yeah. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Well, apart from the tournament and the first prize money, of course.
Yeah, and the significant social media attention and all that.
Not to be undervalued, that Leigh.
Yeah.
But in an interesting aside from Steve, he does say, "Get on the Clarkson Farm Series 4. Well, I got a brand new combine harvester. I'll give you the key." Yeah, is that
yeah?
Is that what we're talking about here? Clarkson Farm Series 4. What else have we got? Simon goes on to talk about the barrister thing.
So you think,
right?
Yeah. So you think it was in current? Well, you think it's in current time, but it isn't in current time. So
barrister thing. What's the barrister thing?
We're back to
Q.
We're back to Department Q. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't know there was a barrister element to it. So there he is asking for no spoilers at the same time as he's giving bloody spoilers.
Yeah. And but anyway, Black Snow season 2. That's a good shout as well. Very good series. So went to the cinema last on Monday to see the Oceans film with David Attenborough. Very, very good. But we got recommended to go and see it. No, got recommended to go and see. No, definitely not. And see it on the big screen and just kind of check it out. And really interesting about the ocean's ability to kind of repair itself and how quick it can do it, and what we're still learning so much about the oceans and what's there and what can happen. Yeah, really, really interesting kind of environmental film. It's going to be on Disney Plus and something else from next week, I think, either end of this week or beginning of next week. Highly recommend watching it. Really fascinating, sort of hour and 10 minutes, something like that.
Amazing.
Well worth checking out.
Well, Gwen and I, again, with 10-year-old, we went off to a gig on Wednesday night, Leigh, at the Royal Festival Hall. Nothing too exciting, but wanted to go. Had bought tickets for all sorts of family members. Initially getting 4 at the back. Then I saw the opportunity to get 4 very much further forward, better seats. Got those. Couldn't sell the ones at the back. People started to pull out left, right, and centre. They went to different continents. All of that sort of stuff. So Gwen and I sat there, I sort of crying to myself through the whole thing, thinking, I've got 8 bloody tickets to this concert. I've got bloody 8 tickets. There's just the 2 of us sat there. Oh dear. Gwen said, "Can we go for a burger, Dad?" And I said, "Nah, I don't think we can. We can't."
Yeah, just if you could shift these tickets
sell the
out
tickets
front.
on the street, you can eat.
You can't even do that anymore, can you? Because everything's all virtual these days. So you can't even sell a ticket. You can't even sell a ticket on the street anymore. Let your device
speak to somebody else's device.
I must admit, I did have a seat once for my coat at a Kaiser Chiefs gig at the Royal Albert Hall, which a front row, like literally the best seat, and my coat got its own seat. Yeah,
I kid you not, Leigh. I kid you not. Gwen and I went, so we had these 4 seats. It's 3rd row, beautiful spot. So I said to Gwen, what we'll do, Gwen, right? Because I'm going to make the best out of this that I can. We're going to sit in the 2 middle seats. We'll have 1 on the right, 1 on the left, bit of space. Happy days, right?
Beautiful.
Got in, bloke sits on the seat, on my side, right? There's a seat between us. He put his bloody coat on my seat. I wasn't happy, Leigh. I wasn't happy.
I paid for that. Yeah.
That's my seat. That's my seat, mate.
I paid for that. Absolutely.
£40, please. Still, good gig.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what was it you went to see? Who was it?
Swell season. Glenn Hansard and Marketa Erglova.
Very nice.
So a bit of an Irish connection, and I quite like to steep the family in some Irishness where we can.
Yeah. Steve not making much of a dent into this 3-1 chip lead that the chip eater has.
Still alive,
he's going
though,
to need
Lee.
to.
Still alive.
Yeah, he very much is. What I was going to say back on Vegas, some really good deals at the moment. If anybody is fancying
Really?
a bit of a last minute trip, hotel wise, occupancy is down. And normally when occupancy drops, that means there are some deals to be had out there. And I mean, I saw a week at the Bellagio I could get for like $750, $800, something like that.
Wow.
For a week.
But is that because you've got like points
a little bit of it's not no it's nothing with founders cards. It's just it was just through the MGM app. So it's offering, I say, in flight wise again, there are deals to be had. So because I mean Virgin are back flying from the UK every day from Heathrow, which they were anyway, but they're also now I think 3 times a week from Manchester as well now during the summer. So and the Manchester flights are pretty good value if you're up that way. Seems to be got the double up.
Yeah.
So is now just taken the chip lead. So let's see what happens now. But certainly looks to be some deals to be had in Vegas accommodation wise. So although things are still people argue expensive, again if you find the right places in Vegas and you're not paying overly odds for what is just a hotel room at the end of the day, it's just somewhere to get a few hours kip, isn't it, before you get on with the next day. So
I haven't seen any stats on it, but I do continue to see headlines that suggest US tourism is being pretty badly impacted by
it is. If you look, I follow a couple of the guys on X that are very much into their kind of gambling industry, financial numbers and that kind of thing, and Vegas numbers have dropped month on month and year on year. They've also seen a drop in the casino profits as well, but weirdly, convention center numbers are up in Vegas. So although the gambling side of things and basically overseas visitors has dropped, they have seen convention numbers increase.
Convention center though it tends to be much more essential. So traveling for recreation is one thing. You have the world as your oyster. Traveling, however, for some quite well-established conventions where Vegas leads in use for many people, they're kind of essentials, but they're also dip in and out. You're not there for, an elongated period. You're there for 3, 4, 5 days.
Top building here, 2 aces, 2 kings on the board. Steve's got a nearly 2-1 chip lead here now.
Pop there.
So sticks in a little half pot bet on the end, gets chip eater all in. Is Steve going to call this off? If he's not got an ace or a king, if he's got an ace or a king, he's got he can't.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
strong play by both. Was Steve a bit light on the end there, or was it obvious that Chip had?
It's hard to know. I mean, it was only 4 bigs in the middle, so it's difficult to know whether it's a too big bet. He's just popped it in to see. I mean, he could be thinking with 2 aces and 2 kings on the board.
Are we buying that?
I don't believe for one second that Steve folded a king there. I do not believe that for 1 second. Yeah, no chance. No chance did he fold a king there. That's incredible if he did.
He might get away with that line with Mrs. Forte, a late night sort of bar on a cruise, but not here on the APAT show.
No, we don't. We're not believing that. He could have even had a queen or a jack and thinking, well, that's going to be good enough as a kicker. But yeah. But then again, it could be that he did have a king and he was convinced that Chip Eater's shove said, I've got an ace, so I'll call me off and I'll double up, please. Quite possibly that could have been the case. So
So he did 100%, Leigh. So clearly he did. And Sai says on Ace Ace King King X. And then says, follows that up with a promotion of that David Attenborough series that you so enjoyed.
Absolutely.
At cinema
very,
last
very
week.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm sure at that, Leigh, you saw some very, very strange fish, because I don't think I've ever seen a David Attenborough narrated show that didn't have some sort of really weird creature crawling along.
It was say some incredible videography. Just some new footage. Interesting, obviously, a bit of a heavy environmental take on it, talking about the kind of the
coral reef,
and the kind of bottom, the trawling of the seabed, where they just churn it all up to collect and kind of the damage that's causing, but a real positive thing actually about how the solution is already there. We just need to stop fishing in certain areas and give things a chance to regrow, and it doesn't take very long. The oceans are incredible, repairing themselves and getting back, and the amount of carbon dioxide that can be gathered up by these underwater kind of forests effectively and grasses and things. Really, really fascinating. That could be the way forward. They were showing a particular area just to the west of Hawaii, where it's the largest ocean area which is basically looked after and protected, and basically how quickly the sea life basically just respawns and grows back. They were just amazed by it. It was really good.
Did they did it present any concepts whatsoever that what is happening under the water could in any way help the absolute shit show that's happening above?
Yeah. No, that was very much
quite interesting, right?
That was very much the suggestion, that if we could actually stop overfishing in certain areas and it's interesting, they weren't saying, what they're saying is if you can pick particular areas and completely stop fishing those areas, what that does is it allows that area to regrow, which then populates the areas you want to fish in. So actually it's kind of the thing of like, exactly. And it doesn't take that long. It can be, it can be a 4 or 5 years, and something which has completely been destroyed by these trawlers that are just scraping up the bottom of the seabed can how quickly it can be done. Really, really interesting, and gave you a real positive hope. It's very sad to see it and the way that we treat the planet, but some hope that there might be a better future with it. So
just eat the chips, Leigh.
It's I'm looking at Simon Lawler's comment. Did you rather teach you that? That's what you get.
The ace ace king. I dropped my king.
Yeah, that's what you get for your prize. Stu's in Vegas, wondering what's going on.
Fantastic. So let me just put this up again. There you go.
Yeah. So a nice half pot bet again from Steve, and that gets the call from Chippy, who had 6-3 and had hit a 6. Oof. And made the call. Didn't believe Steve, and
maybe
and was
listening
correct
to the stream, Leigh.
Yeah, was correct not to believe him. So hilarious. Puts Chip Eater back into the chip lead. We'll kind of be done once these guys are finished. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we haven't talked about that we wanted to tonight. We've covered off the WSOP Fantasy Comp, which, don't forget, you can still enter or make substitutions in if you want to. If you're making substitutions, you need to do it via the registration page that you registered in the first place. You'll have got sent an email, and you need to do it via, there's a link there where you can make adjustments to it. So you need to do it via that rather than trying to contact John, because so many entries this year. I think he said it was too many entries to actually list on a Facebook post. It doesn't allow you to do that. That's how big they've got with it. So
I think John is using the free Facebook.
He's not
tier.
Paying premium.
He's not on the premium or the diamond Facebook tier. Get on that, John.
Yeah, he's not paying Zuck a monthly contribution.
You get extra columns and rows in your images. It's amazing.
Yeah. See, Zuck learned the trick from Elon.
I tell you what, I'm deeply uncomfortable with Zuck these days. I mean, I quite liked the known package of grey shirt, kind of, uninteresting hairstyle. Really liked that. I felt I could live with that.
He was playing some poker the other week, wasn't he? Did I see something with him?
I don't like that at all, Lee.
Yeah.
Now I am worried about my data.
About?
Whereas when he was going around as Mr. Grey, I was comfortable about my data being in this man's possession. And his hair has gone into a really weird place. So no, sir. That's a share price down. That's a sell for me.
Oh, there's some discussion about one of your picks in the chat, Des.
Really? Mr. Ivy, let's have a look. Did you see the possible angle by Phil Ivy in the 5K? I've got to be honest with you, Si. I wouldn't have thought Phil Ivy was too bothered about it. I mean, I'm impressed that he's still going in there.
So I think I haven't. I'm not exactly sure. I know roughly what happened. So he max late regged it on the day 2, I believe. So sat down with maybe 12 bigs or 15 bigs in a 5K, 8 max, I think it was, something like that. And I think played a couple of hands and then got involved in this hand, but I'm not exactly sure the details of what happened. It was something to do with a river bet, if I remember what I read. Sort of. I was scanning it as I was going. I was more interested in the fact that he literally rocked up and max late regged it with about 12 bigs for 5K. I thought, well, okay, if that's how you're gonna play the World Series. I mean, maybe whoever's picked him in the team is going to struggle, but hopefully somebody might be able to give a bit more detail on what happened.
Okay, so Ivy had trip jacks. The river brought the flush. So kind of gives a little bit of context, but I'm not clear. I'm
not sure how the it's something. It was something to do with the river bet. That's for sure.
I also read a Poker News headline that in the mystery bounty, 4th or 5th draw of a mystery bounty was like the $1 million bounty.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
So Ivy had all his chips. Yeah, Ivy had all his chips in his hand, not on the table, and the dealer says to put chips on table. Okay, so. Okay, that's not great, but he had played a couple of hands before that, so but he had only just sat down, so that will be effectively pretty much be the that will just be his starting stack, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that's because that's all he had. It hasn't frozen here. They are actually playing through this hand. Steve back with the chip lead again now. So,
I see Steve's clock is. So I am seeing some.
Right. So what Simon's saying is Oppo had the flush and put the 2 chips out there, and exposed his hand. So then they had to call the floor. Right. Okay. That sort of makes sense. Which is a bit naughty if he's put the 2 chips out thinking that's all Phil Ivy had, but he had these other chips in his hand.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not great. It's not a great look because let's be honest, Phil Ivy's played enough poker to know what you should be doing. So you can easily see why people would suggest that's a little bit dodgy.
He's also ran more than the running man from Walsall back in season 3. He has had some big scandals.
It's when we were running 5-card Omaha before there was even 5-card Omaha.
Detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
You collect your mystery bounty in the car park.
Yeah. It's a lot went on in that. That was
a great weekend.
It's possibly one of the most tacked, incident filled APATs I think we've ever had.
Drunken,
my laptop. My laptop. The Titan threw across the room. Yeah.
Violent during his violent phase. Yeah. We banned people.
Scouse, Scouse was busy celebrating Liverpool's 2025 Premier League title win. Yeah, early. It was incredible.
We had Sky there as well, didn't we? With Richard whatever, and TK was there.
Did it snow? Was it snow? Was it really cold that weekend? If I remember rightly, it was everything chilly weather. It was ridiculous.
And of course, we had the running back.
Steve has really got a chip lead now. He's got a 4-1 chip lead here. Let's see if he can take this home. If it's time to cruise, let's see.
It's time to cruise, Tom.
Yeah.
Grab your plane and let's go.
Captain 40 at the helm. Can he see this? Can he see this one home now? It's looking good because he's just hoovering up the chips here. It's going to get to a point in a minute where they are going to go in, and we're going to see two hands collide. Is this going to be the one?
He's going to take a shot.
He's thinking about it.
This could be like an 8-5 or anything. He's had to let it go.
He's probably folded kings there, I'd imagine.
Super ugly. Something like jacks, you're right. Or,
but I'm loving Steve's play here because he really is where he's got the opportunity, just applying the pressure. Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to snap one of these off in a minute, and he does with the King 10 suited. Oh, what a flop for Chip Eater. Nothing's going to help Steve there, and it's a double up for Chip Eater, and Steve's still got a decent chip lead, 25 bigs against 15, so still got a nice tidy chip lead. So yeah, if you want to get involved, say it's going to be Vegas talk, isn't it, for the next month or two, I would imagine. And if you want to get out there tomorrow night, get yourself on Poker Raffles and snap yourself up some of the remaining tickets.
Yes, sir.
£1 could win you a £3,500 package, and we must pick a winner tomorrow night at 9:00. Every Monday night we do the Poker Raffles draws, Des and myself, and pretty much every week on a Monday we will do an APAT draw. That's pretty much ever happens without fail. But alongside the APAT draw tomorrow night, we are doing that Vegas draw, and we've got to pick a winner at 9:00 tomorrow night. So there's still 1,800 odd tickets left. So if you fancy getting involved in that, it's going to be good value.
Do so
for tomorrow.
And if you haven't seen Leigh and I do a Poker Raffles draw, then do get in and do that quickly, because we've already discussed we're going to hand it over to AIs shortly.
Yeah,
we're going to have avatars and. I'm going to be really handsome.
I'm going to be blue. Oh, not that avatar. Right. Okay.
I'm going to be blue and extremely tall.
Yeah.
Oh,
so Steve back in control again. Back to that 4-1 chip lead. Chip Eater's all in on the 7-5-6 board. Is Steve going to call it off? Not this time, but it's back to the 4-1 chip lead again now for Steve. So I didn't mind the all-in pre with the King 10 suited.
I liked it.
Nice hand to do it, to be honest. Yeah. It could have just easily be good. Not a problem with that.
Simon says it could be a long night. It's not going to be a long night because, once we're done, we're kind of done. Shall we just turn it off now, Leigh, for a laugh?
Oh, Steve would be devastated if we didn't see this through. He'd be in my messenger chat immediately going, what's going on? Chip Eater's flopped really nicely again there with the ace 10 with the 2 10s on the flop. Very nice indeed. Still 2-1 chip lead for Steve though. Be nice if this was done before 5 to the hour. They've got 12 minutes. Otherwise we'll be on another break.
Or else we're going to have to move you up to the APAT premium tier, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we'll see another 4 clubs on the board, and Chip Eater with the Queen of Clubs, and just nibbles away at Steve's chip lead.
Leigh, Formula One Academy on the Netflix. Have you seen this? Leigh, recommend.
No.
Recommend.
Is it any good?
Yes. I mean,
is that the all girl? Is that the all girls academy thing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's like a Natalie Bromley World Series of Poker Fantasy team selection. It's all girls, and it's a really interesting and very nicely produced. I want to say 4-episode series.
Well, in the call, it's King 10 versus the Kings, and that's a huge dent into Steve's stack, and it's all flipped again now. Chip Eater's got a 3-1 chip lead and is now applying the pressure.
Wowzers.
A long night comment from Simon. He was referring to the draw. So
I thought it was kind of Shakespearean, Lee.
We're gonna run good on the draw. I don't know whether you watched the draw. It was a couple of weeks ago. We did a draw, and I think we'd sold half the tickets. I think so. We need to pick a win, and it took 6 goes to pick.
Fantastic. The odds, like a really bad penalty shootout.
The odds on it were insane. I don't know how we ran so bad, but I would imagine with the numbers that we've sold, yeah, we'll be. It won't take long. We'll have a winner pretty quick. Oh, Steve's absolutely back in the game and chip leader again. This has really been a topsy-turvy heads up. In fact, it was like that when it was 3-handed when Brian was at the table as well. Absolutely anybody's chips flying all over the place, and nobody seems to want to finish this off. Here we go, though. Raise from Chip Eater, all in from the double top 40. It was enough pressure. Yeah, so Chip Eater down to 12 bigs, and Steve's got 20 now. So
what you need out there is a digital Martin, what is it, Cabriel?
Here we go.
Abusing them both.
Six bigs in the middle. Chip Eater's only got 9 behind. Pops 2 in there on the turn. All in from Steve. Again,
it's a fold.
It's all changed. 40, yeah, and back to a 4-1 chip lead. Chip Eater's all in, and it's been called. Ace 3 against Ace 8, 3 or a 4. And not going to be a. Can you believe somehow the 8?
It wasn't even a chop. How did that hold?
And it did, and back even. So, I mean, that's all it took. Any 2 aces, to be honest. They were happy to get that in there.
It's like watching 2 drunk men fighting over a kebab, Lee.
Simon said, can't they chop it? Yeah. At this rate, they'll still be playing when Nottingham Forest start the Europa Conference campaign for next season. The way it's good, isn't it great to see the transfer window open today, and there's like deals being done.
Yeah, nearly done. Instantly. They could close it tomorrow.
It's open for 9 days or 10 days, then it closes again, and then it opens again for the summer. And did you know that in between this World Club nonsense thing going on, they can parachute in players halfway through the tournament. So once you get out through the group stages of it's got group stages, you can register additional players into your squad.
Nonsense. So they're going to leave some of their top players at home, get a bit of a holiday, and bring.
I don't know how they're playing, but they're talking about Ronaldo could just rock up and play for somebody that's in the knockout stages, on a 2-week contract because he's out of contract with his current Saudi team. I mean, Here we go, all in the call. Ace 5 versus the 7s. It's the 7s at risk. The hearts are there, and he's hit the hearts. Queen or a 7, it's going to need to be, not to be.
It's going to be it.
We're done.
Wow.
We're done.
The double top has hit the top.
Steve, the double top 40, takes down the win. He picks up just shy of £40 for his trouble tonight. Congratulations, Chip Eater. Picks up 20 quid. And for all the rest of you that were playing Sunday Splash, nice to see that running tonight. Thank you very much for playing that, guys. Hopefully we'll get the satellite running next week. Remember, every Sunday night we guarantee 2 £140 seats. That's Des and I putting that money up every single Sunday night. It just needs 5 players to get it running. £30 entry, but you can satellite in any day of the week, from a free roll into a £1, into a £5, into a £30 ticket. You can win as many of those as you want any day of the week on grosvenorpoker.com. Use them for that Sunday, hold them off and use them for the following Sunday, whatever you like. It really is the best satellite feed structure we've, I think, ever had in 20 years of APAT. It really is so good. You guys just need to play them. So, and if you don't want to use them for the APAT ones, those £30 tickets can be used for anything else on Grosvenor. So if you want to go and play, I don't know, a GU KPT, or you fancy going to play the Goliath this summer at Coventry,
very flexible, right?
Then you can use them for any of those as well. So to be honest, get playing them because they are super value. But yeah, that's us done for another week.
Fantastically. Well, you say that's us done, and goodness knows we deserve for it to be done. It was quite a good heads up. It was great from 3 out, but Natalie has shown up, and she's kind of gone and said, "Where was Simon Lawler? Huh? What did I do?" I think it was what you didn't do, Natalie. We talked a lot about the WSOP fantasy competition this evening. We went through your team, as indeed we went through a lot of teams, and Simon commented that you hadn't selected Vanessa Cade. I think that was the discussion piece.
Yeah, I believe it was. And also, we obviously made the comment that actually that Katie Swift is doing well as well, and so far, and actually was surprised. Let me very quickly bring back up.
We liked your team. We liked Sinead Davenport. We thought, yeah, she could be a really interesting one in Vegas this summer. But no Vanessa Cade, which, to be honest, fair enough. Looked like a strong team. Could still make her, a couple of substitutions in there. Sure.
If no one scored any points for her yet, she could. I mean, she could still make a last minute good. You know what? I'll put Katie Swift in.
Did Natalie have Katie Swift?
No. You can. It's back up. I don't know whether you can. Can you share the screen? Flip.
Oh yes,
flip
I can. Yes, I can. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not too late. You could make a couple of subs if you want. If you fancy putting Vanessa Cade in, or you fancy putting Katie Swift in, switch around. Substitutions are still available. Definitely not. Definitely not. But yes, you can still make substitutions in those fantasy teams if you want to. So not too late to do that.
Looks like a good team, though. No need to.
As we always say, you pick your team and say everyone goes for what they feel is right for them, and that it's the whole of the series. We're only 3 or 4 events in. There's a whole lot of events, another 96 events or whatever to go yet. So anything could happen, and I'm pretty sure will. And follow the guys if you're in the group. Please give John's posts a share and a comment and get involved, because actually they put a lot of effort into this every year. So if you can get in there and show a little bit of love in the group, that will be much appreciated.
Amazing. Okay, we are going to call it a night there, guys and girls. Lovely spending some time with you. Well done to Steve on winning the splash. And Leigh and I don't know what we're doing next weekly, because I'm going to be traveling, my friend. So we need to. We may have
a week. Yeah, we may have a week off. Or I might find a guest, and we'll do something. We'll have a look. We'll work it out.
Okay, so we will see you when we see you, folks. Have a great few days until then.
And we'll see you tomorrow night for the Vegas draw. Tomorrow night, Vegas draw. Yeah.
It's a big one tomorrow night. It's Vegas, right? Just £1 a ticket, win the draw, go to Vegas. Simple as that. Simple as that. Simples. Right. Night, everyone.